Year 3 is in the books, and we did finish this one off with a 31-16 Armed Forces Bowl victory versus the Louisiana Tech Bulldogs. And I am pleased with the way that we played this season. We did lose to Washington State again, 28-10, the third time we've lost to them in the series. We're 0-3. We did lose a game against Rice, but we missed like 4 field goals in that game. That's a game we probably should have won. Then we had a lot of close games down the stretch. Lost the conference championship against Cal 35-31. If Cal and us can both get back to that position next season, I do think we have a really good rivalry in the making. We're going to be moving on from quarterback Joshua Wood here. He was a serviceable starter for us, but he did get replaced in about the middle of the season by Jeremiah Tobias. And the reason that we replaced him is because he showed no growth. His stats were like literally identical to the season before. Jeremiah Tobias came in and completed a higher percentage of passes. He threw for more touchdowns and he turned the ball over less. And that was as a redshirt freshman. I think the upside that he has is incredible. We will be moving on from 4 senior starters on the offensive line, so we'll have to see what kind of development we get in the offseason and potentially what the transfer portal presents us. Bronson Alevao is a 3-time starter for us, as he will be graduating. We'll definitely miss him. Raider DeMooney was a transfer we got after season 1 from BYU, and he had an excellent season for us this year. An interception, 6 TFLs, and over 90 tackles. JD Drew is another guy that we're going to be moving on from this season, as he had 3 interceptions in back-to-back years. He had 2 picks in the game against Stanford, and that was very clutch because Stanford was a good team and a team that looked to be, dangerous. Carl Nesmith, 10.5 sacks in back-to-back seasons, and he didn't play for a large chunk of the season. He was out with an injury as he just continued to dominate. He's going to be a guy that's actually pretty hard to replace. We have 3 seniors in the secondary that will be graduating, and my thought process behind that is our secondary was already worst in the Pac-12. What does that mean going into next season? Zach Qualls has committed, as we do pick up a 4-star wide receiver. One thing I did want to mention is usually, Shelton Sampson, Gabe Shudak, Mike Lemonier, Darren Downs, all at a risk of transferring. And what is causing these guys to want to transfer? It is the pro potential. And that's going to be something that we're going to have to deal with the entire season because it's projecting out who's going to go pro on our team going into next season. As you look at the Pac-12 bowl results, Cal did beat Iowa State, Washington State got blown out by LSU, and Stanford beat Oklahoma State. Michigan wins the national championship. Go Blue, as this is what a national championship team looks like right here. They are pretty well rounded all the way through. That offensive line is dominant. And you're looking at the defense, it's even stronger. They really do not have a weak link out there. The front 7 really good. And the secondary is also pretty solid with 280 overall safeties as they beat Cincinnati in the national championship game. Here's a look at your final top 25 polls. Cal finishes 12th. We will finish 14th. Washington State will finish 19th. So it's good to see that we have 3 Pac-12 teams finishing in the top 25. I thought about bringing Arizona and Arizona State over to the Pac-12 going into year 4. I'm going to wait until year 5. As here's a look at the players leaving. They have all decided that they want out. Shelton Sampson, we need him going into next season. He'd be like one of the only receivers that we have, as he has decided to stay. It was a very low persuasion chance, but for some reason, Shelton Sampson decided, you know what? I want to come back. How about Gabe Shudak now? He has decided he will stay. So we bring back Shudak and Shelton Sampson. Mike Lemonier is the next one, a low chance, as he has decided he will transfer out. So the dynamic playmaker only sees 1 season in Logan, Utah. How about Darren Downs? He has a very low chance, and he has decided he will transfer out. I had no idea that this was going to happen. Andres Sosa, strong safety, 68 overall. He has decided he will stay put in Logan, Utah. I had no idea that the pro potential was going to do what it did. And you can see why guys want to leave, because we had no draft picks this season. And you'll see as the video goes on, we may not even have draft projections going into next season. And that's really going to hinder a lot of guys who have that, draft potential or pro potential deal breaker. Right now we're at a D-, and here's what I'm talking about. We have 0 projected draft picks, and that's going off of next season, mind you. So that's something that we're definitely going to have to think about as we enter year 4, is the fact that there's going to be some guys that aren't going to like our pro potential, and there's really nothing we can do to change that unless somebody starts popping off. Into the transfer portal now. How about Malachi Durant from Oregon State, 6'1", 181, as this guy's got some speed. Jordan Faison from Notre Dame, we're going to take him off of the board. Here's Alex Linkenbach now, a freshman transfer, 94 speed. Enough said. Let's go ahead and offer him a scholarship. Jordan Anderson, another guy from Oregon State, we'll offer him as well. Tevin Apple, the 11th ranked tackle in this in this transfer portal, we'll go ahead and offer him. Demarion White will also offer. Matt Bowie, a defensive tackle. It always helps to have defensive tackle depth. I'm never going to complain about that, and especially when you have 90 or more strength. We'll offer him a scholarship as well. Jeff Newgrader will also offer a scholarship to. Jamerson Choate, an outside linebacker from Minnesota, he's transferring. We'll offer him a scholarship. We need some linebacker depth, especially since we're moving on from Bronson to Leavow, so we'll offer a scholarship to Trotter. And I said a secondary is something that I definitely want to improve upon. Glenn Timms is somebody that we're going to offer a scholarship to. And in Exodus Ayers, 80-man coverage, 90 speed, we will also offer a scholarship to. I'm also looking to do some more man heading into year 4 as opposed to zone. Want to see how that works out. Elton Akbar is a receiver that we continue to try and make a push on, but it does look like Stanford's making some strides to kind of bring him in. As far as these guys that are transferring out, we're in a good position for Malachi Durant and Alex Linkenbach. Jordan Anderson is somebody that we're going to have to get in on a visit because we may miss out on him. David Jester, a free safety, the 84th best transfer portal prospect, we'll offer him a scholarship as well. LaShawn Johnson, a running back, he's an athlete, has committed, so that's good to see right there. As we look at what we have in recruiting at the moment, Malachi Durant, we're close to being able to bring him in. Alex Linkenbach, same thing in a battle against UConn. Jordan Anderson, Stanford is looking to bring him in. And Stanford is looking to be loaded at wide receiver heading into year 4. They're a team to definitely look out for in Pac-12 play next year. They had like a top recruiting class, I do believe, when it's all said and done. As Demarion White has chose Washington and Jeff Newgrader has chose Oregon State. So we'll miss out on those 2 transfer portal guys. As here's a look at what we're looking at this stage in recruiting. Malachi Durant is so close to committing. I can't believe he hasn't done it already. Alex Linkenbach is close. Tevin Apple, Matt Bowie. We're in a good position on those guys. Jamerson Choate in a good position. Josiah Trotter, we're in a good position. Mike Perkins, Glenn Timms, Exodus Ayers, and David Jester, we're all in good positions. We continue to see that we're in good position on these guys. Somehow Malachi Durant still hasn't decided that he's going to commit here. As we divvy up the points here, Antoine Meeks is a quarterback that I'm actually curious about. See if we can bring him in, as it is National Signing Day. We bring in Jeremiah Driver, a 3-star center, so always looking to bring in offensive line talent. Malachi Durant, the speedy wide receiver, 98 speed, has committed. So has an Alex Linkenbach, 94 speed for him. Jamerson Choate, and a right outside linebacker. I do look to potentially move him to edge. Josiah Trotter gets a commitment. Tevin Apple, so we have offensive line depth. Mike Perkins at cornerback has decided to commit. Glenn Timms has decided to commit. David Jester at free safety. And I told you, a big emphasis heading into this transfer portal was to get better in the secondary. We brought in some cornerbacks. Exodus Ayers also committed. And that's definitely important because we need some cornerback depth, because we graduated a lot of guys. Stanford finished with a top 17 recruiting class. We finished in 30th, but it was a lot of 4-stars for Stanford. This is a team that's going to be dangerous here in a couple of seasons. I do expect it to probably be us, Cal, and Stanford battling for Pac-12 championship games. As Demarius Ahmad has elite development, Darrell Ferkser with star, Sateki Luvu with impact development, Juan Lima with star development. Of course, some of these you already know. Zach Qualls with impact. LaShawn Johnson with impact. Miguel Catapano with star. So that's huge out of that corner. Tommy Falk with impact development. Tavares Stamer with normal development. Jeremiah Driver also with normal development. Same with Alex Cheeseman. Malachi Durant, the transfer from Oregon State, has impact. Alex Linkenbach with normal. So what does that mean for Linkenbach? Tevin Apple with impact. Matt Bowie with impact. Jamerson Choate with impact. Josiah Trotter also with impact. Mike Perkins, impact. Glenn Timms, impact. Exodus Ayers, impact. What does David Jester have? Normal. You thought I was going to say impact, didn't you? But there are a couple of guys I wanted to look at and where they went. Darren Downs is going to Rutgers, and Mike Lemonier is going to Boise State. So there is a chance we could see Mike Lemonier in the future playing on the blue turf in Boise, Idaho. I think that the recruiting went pretty decent. We didn't bring in a large high school class, but I think we did a good job at bringing in good transfer prospects. I do want to be able to bring some of these guys in and really craft them into my own superstars as opposed to going to the transfer portal to look for them. LaShawn Johnson, will put him at defensive end. Darrell Ferkser, we are going to put him at tight end. It will bring on some competition for Gabe Shudak. Pierre Lambeau's just not really getting any better at the moment. So that's why I decided to make that decision. Looking at the roster overall here, this is before training. I just wanted to get a look at the overalls of some of these freshmen. And then Malachi Durant, 76 overall. Zach Quall, 74. And Alex Linkenbach with 74 as well. Yeah, definitely just wanted to get a look at their overalls. Darrell Ferkser, we already know he has 74 overall at tight end. And then looking at the offensive lineup coming here, Junior Sia is going to have to be an impact guy because the depth behind him at left tackle is not that good. Driver is a 64 overall. The right guard position is extremely deep. And then Tevin Apple is a 76 overall, and Demarius Ahmad is a 74 overall. Juan Lima, the number 1 high school recruit, is a 78 overall. He's going to be dangerous. Sateki Luvu is a 74 overall, and LaShawn Johnson a 68 overall. All the way down the board, Imani Awesome's brother, Jamison Awesome, is a 68 overall. So, not really that bad, but I think he's going to have a chance to develop. Eldrick Keener, a 71 overall, and George Alito is 67. As Cheeseman is a 68, and Stamer is a 64. Trotter is a 77 overall at linebacker. So, we did bring in some good depth at that position. Jamerson Choate, 74 overall junior. I do plan on redshirting him because I do want to move him to edge rusher after this season. I just kind of forgot to do it. I really didn't look over his ratings as deep as I should have. Miguel Catapano is a 70 overall. Tommy Falk, a 66, as that will cap off the freshmen and the transfers overall ratings. Now it's time for the training results here to see how much better these guys got. Jeremiah Tobias is up to an 83 overall here. And with his elite development, I'm just not seeing him kind of hit those skill caps the way that I hoped he would. We're definitely going to need to see a lot more development out of him. Thomas Yates is now a 75 overall as he had a pretty good offseason. Deshaun Layman is the 4th best running back on the roster. It does look like Hausler will probably have that lead role heading into season 4 though. Looking at receiver, Tyler Sexton with a huge offseason. He is the highest rated wide receiver on this roster. Malachi Durant doesn't get the development, but he's a 76 overall. Greg Moncrief up to a 74 as he's the best route runner on this roster. We're not really seeing some development out of Devontae Haslam at the moment, though. Gabe Shudak up to a 78 overall, but tight ends, dev traits, and their skill caps are just kind of really bad in this game. Tavo Matuapaakas, 87 overall. He's the highest overall guy on this team. Alex Tuttle, redshirt freshman, 81 overall. Cole Keel is an 82, but there's going to be some battles there. Geraldo and Yolito as well are right behind him, and maybe you opt for the younger player. Tyreek Siegler's up to a 79 overall at defensive end. And then Jamie Kramer, 78 overall. Juan Lima will start. There's no debating it. He's going to start. And then Sateki Luvu will probably be the backup right end as well. Bobby KZ with an excellent offseason, 80 overall now, as he's now the number 1 defensive tackle on this team. Elias Guerrero, 81 overall. Eldrick Keener, 71. Tanner Williams up to an 83, so he definitely probably will be our starting middle linebacker. But Braden Pope with some excellent development. He's up to an 82 overall, and with that 86 speed, I'm definitely excited about that. Our corners are not terrible, but they are not great at all. Chase Davis is not great. Strong safety, though. Cordell Lawson up to an 84, and Andres Sosa, who I just mentioned a second ago, was a 68 overall. is now up to an 84 overall. We have 2 really good, strong safeties. The secondary, we'll have to see how much better it actually got. I do think the pass rush is going to be 10 times better. But we have bad news. Juan Lima, Andres Sosa, Zach Qualls, Gabe Shudak, and 2 more players have the pro potential deal breaker. And when we have nobody projected to go pro on this current team, we do risk losing guys. Demarius Ahmad, the 4-star elite development tackle, is also on that list. So that's the story heading into year 4. There's a chance that guys like Juan Lima, Andres Sosa, Demarius Ahmad may only be here for 1 season, and then they may transfer out. And it doesn't matter. If Juan Lima went out there and won the Heisman at defensive end and had 40 sacks, and we won the national championship, that pro potential deal breaker is not changing. So there's always a chance that he decides to transfer out. So unfortunately, there's nothing I can do about it. That's just the story heading into this season. We do have a couple of ranked opponents on our schedule this season. We're going to open up on the road, though, against Penn State and Brendan Sensabaugh. If you guys remember, Brendan Sensabaugh was the #1 rated high school quarterback in last year's class. We had him, he had us #1 on his board for pretty much the entire season. But then late, Penn State made a push, and they took that top spot away from us. So I do want to play him. I kind of want to get back at him and see what kind of quarterback this guy is. I know he's going to be good, and that's what's going to make that game so fun and challenging to begin year 4. I think that we're going to have a really good team this season, and there's no better way to get year 4 started than with a challenge. But, going back on the topic of the pro potential and the potential of missing out on seeing a whole career for guys like Juan Lima, that sucks. And I don't know how I'm going to be able to play year 4 and really truly enjoy it, knowing that, hey, what we have here with Juan Lima may only last 1 season and the guy may decide to transfer. Maybe we get lucky and we're able to convince him to stay, but with that high of a risk to transfer, he's probably going to try and transfer. And then it's just up to luck and able to, in order to convince him to stay. As we're here into the first week of recruiting, we have 17 seniors with as many transfer potential guys that we have. We may need to replace like 24 guys. So I thought at first maybe we don't need to bring in a huge class, but now I'm thinking we probably need to bring in a big class because we may lose 24 guys at the end of this season. It's going to be interesting to see how this season shapes up, and I want to kind of go through it and not worry about what happens at the end of the season, because I do believe that we have a college football playoff roster, and I don't want to get too caught up in what's going to happen in the offseason or what's the decision of Juan Lima going to be or anything like that. I just want to play it game by game and try and go win a national championship, or at least get to the college football playoff at the least. That is the goal for this season, is to go out and win the Pac-12 and go to the college football playoff. We have to get that started, though, with a game against Penn State. On paper, they are better than us, but we are the higher ranked team, and I think that we're going to get after that young, true freshman quarterback, Brendan Sensabaugh. I'd like to be able to play Penn State every single year. I would have loved if he was our quarterback, but it is what it is. I think we got a we got a playmaker in Jeremiah Tobias. But that's going to cap off this video. I hope you guys are excited for Season 4. That will be coming at you in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.